All right, hey, how's it going, everyone? I hope you're well. This is for HL and SL, and it's to do with the sine rule and the cosine rule. So the first question is going to be, actually, no, the first question is not going to be that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a couple of little questions, and I want you to either type the answer into the box, or if it's multiple choice, I want you to give me what the answer is. Okay. So the first question is, what is the answer to, I want the exact value of sine 60. That's number one. Number two is, what is the answer to cos of 45 degrees? Number three, what is the answer to tan of 30 degrees? I want exact values. I do not want you putting these into your calculator. Question four, what is the answer to tan of 45 degrees? And question five, what is the answer to, I don't know, let's say cos of 30 degrees. Okay, so those were our exact values. Remember, we said that you have to know the triangles in order to be able to remember them. And hopefully you've seen the answers come up whenever you put in the answer. So today we're going to look at sine rule and cosine rule. And the first question we're going to ask is, when should we use the sine rule or the cosine rule? Okay, so when do we use the sine rule or cosine rule? First thing is we use either specifically for non-right angled triangles. That's the big thing. Okay, but how do we know whether to use the sine rule or the cosine rule? So the first thing that you do is, if you're given a triangle, always check if you can use cosine rule first. Okay, and you know you can use the cosine rule if either A, you are given all three sides. If you're given all three sides, this means you can find an angle. Or B, you can use the cosine rule if you are given two sides and the angle in between. And if this is the case, you can find the remaining side. Okay, so that is the first thing that you always check. If you can't do those two things, then you use the sine rule. Okay, that's basically it. If you can't use the cosine rule, use the sine rule. So for example, if I put up a triangle for you. Okay, so for example, for the first one, if I'm given a triangle with sides 15, 20, and 30, okay, just ignore the perpendicular height. Can I use the cosine rule? Well, am I given all three sides? Yes, so I can use the cosine rule to find any one of these angles that I want, okay? And I would use the formula for that. Cos A is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2bc. Okay. Let's look at the second example. If I'm given a triangle, I've got this side, and this angle. Okay. Can I use the cosine rule? Am I given all three sides? No. So that doesn't apply. Am I given two sides and the angle in between? Well, I'm given this side, but I'm not given this angle. I'm given this side, not this side, but this angle. So I cannot use the cosine rule. Okay, so I would have to use the sine rule. And remember, the sine rule is if I want to work out, I could work out this angle. Okay, if I call this A, I could say, well, it's sine A over the opposite side is equal to sine of 35 over this opposite side. And I would solve that, and I would be able to work out this angle. Okay, so you always determine if you can use the cosine rule first. Okay, and multiple choice. What would I do for this one if I wanted to work out this length x? Would I use the sine rule or the cosine rule? Okay, what about this one? Would I use the sine rule or the cosine rule to find out angle x? And then if I change it, let's say I get rid of that. Let's say I make this x. What would I do in this case? Sine rule or cosine rule? Okay, so looking at it, do I have two sides and the angle in between? Effectively, I do. Okay, I've got this side, I've got this angle, this is the side I want to work out, and I know this side of. Okay, so I could use the cosine rule. Okay, I could say 20 squared is equal to x squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times x times 14 times cos of the angle in between. I could do that to work out the value of x, okay, just rearranging. I could also, yeah, actually that would be it. I could use the sine rule to work out this angle. Okay, I could use the sine rule to work out that angle. Once I know this angle, then I can work out this angle. And once I know this angle, I could use the sine rule to work out that length. So there are multiple ways to do it, okay? You obviously want to pick the easiest. And obviously if you know two sides and the angle in between, going back to here, if you know two sides and the angle in between, you can also work out the area. So remember, half AB sine C, if you know two sides and the angle in between. I'm going to upload a worksheet which has got mixed questions, which I would like you to have a look at to do with this worksheet, mixed questions to do with sine rule and cosine rule. And if you've got any questions, just hit me up and post any completed work so I can have a look to see how you're getting on. Okay? Any questions, please ask. Okay, I'm here to help. Bye.